real estate investing.
Wait, now we're legit.
Now we're
both,
legitimately live. Okay.
Both screens.
So, howdy. We
Howdy.
have Cody and Christian, Multifamily Strategy, and Dion talk here at the Northwest Action Summit, where we are talking about what we are going to cover this weekend.
What are we covering this weekend?
Well, I know Cody and I are going to be talking a lot about creative finance, how to own your real estate, and never lose it. Everything we've built has been buy and hold long term. Negotiate whatever terms you need to pick up the real estate that you want to hit your goals. Pretty simple, and we're going to be covering that all weekend. Dion, what are you covering?
I'm actually going to try not to depress too many people with talking about where I started at. I'm going to talk about where I ended at. I ended at financially free, able to never work again in my life, with only buying 7 rental properties that has 16 rental units that produce about $17,000 a month in cash flow that I use to travel the world and do pretty much anything I want to. If you want to scale and grow a huge portfolio and create generational wealth, we have speakers here like Cody and Christian, Millennial Mike, Derek, that ADU guy, the real Jesse
Lee.
and there's more.
And more.
You can talk about.
Let's see. We got Jeff Stevens going to be talking about creative finance as well. Got a couple panels, which will be fun, and lunch. It's going to be good food. I love the
I
food.
feel like it's roll call. We have a Jeff Stevens. Jeff Stevens, anyone?
So I think the most important thing to take away is that if you're working towards financial freedom or investing in real estate, there is no one right way, but there is a one right way for you. And the idea is if you get around people that have done this in different ways, using different strategies, you could take something away from each one of us and put it together in the thing that works for you.
If you're in Portland, by the way, you should come swing by. It's not too late. We have room for a whopping 3 more people in the room, a couple times over. So if you're around, you should come swing through.
Yep. It's a happy hour tonight, this Friday, and then the whole event is tomorrow, Saturday, through most of the day.
What are you talking about tomorrow?
So I'm covering a couple of different things. I'm actually speaking with Millennial Mike. Both of us have used house hacking to grow financial freedom through small multifamily. Millennial Mike is investing at a distance. I invest locally. We're going to talk about the differences. The idea is investors don't always agree. So there are guys like me and Mike that are doing things very similar. We both worked in law enforcement. We're both single parents. He's investing at a distance. I'm investing locally and self-managing. He's using a property manager. Like you guys, he is scaling to a larger portfolio. And with me, the one thing that I don't hear from too many other investors is I was able to understand what enough is. When I talk to investors like you guys, Motivated Hard Chargers and Millennial Mike, it just seems like there is no end to the growth. The number of units that you can add, the way that you scale. I'm going to be talking, I think, to the lazy person who is looking at how many units does it take, the least number of units with the highest amount of cash flow to make work optional. So if you want to scale, we have people that can help you do that. If you're as lazy as I am, we're going to have information on how to get you there too.
And by the way, we're a huge fan of setting your target, knowing exactly where you need to go, and actually hitting that number. Knowing when there's enough real estate that tells you where you need to stabilize, optimize to, and what you ideally would pay all the way off. I'm a huge fan of owning your financial freedom. If you want to do real estate as also your hobby and like what you want to do, you can also play this as a competitive sport. But you do need to actually know that number of what do you need to hit your goals, hit that first, and optimize there. So I love your strategy. That is where everyone should start, make it to, and then you decide, what do I want to do after that? Do I want to travel the world, or do I want to keep playing this game, or whatever you want to do? If you have life at the end of your money, you got to choose what you want to do with it.
Tyler LaBelle just said they just put their 12th house under contract.
Nice.
That's exciting. That's in your chat. And then someone asked if this is the Northwest Action Summit.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It is. You can actually just Google Northwest Action Summit. It'll pop up. And this is kind of related to real estate. So for about a decade, I ran a CDL school in Washington State, and I was the president of the Northwest Career Colleges Federation. So it was 116 vocational schools. And we did a lot of these kind of conventions where we took school owners together, the faculty together, and the presenters are great. So no insult. There are going to be great presenters at events like this. But the biggest takeaway, the thing that let me grow a business to where it was the largest one on the West Coast by about 1,200%, was by having the conversations at events like this with other investors that sometimes aren't the ones on stage, but that conversation you have during a break could be the thing where you take away something that changes your entire investing trajectory.
Absolutely. All the big relationships we've made have been at events like this.
And you guys have a couple more this week. You guys are actually traveling all over the country. So if you want to get up close and personal with people who are being invited to, you guys are going to Dallas and to the other ones,
New Jersey.
right?
I've never been.
And
Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas wants real estate people speaking there all the time. I don't know why. Vegas seems to want us all the time. But New Jersey will be brand new. So East Coast people will be there the 27th of next month.
What I really like is that at events like this, you have like tonight there's a mixer, and we're at the name of the hotel is the
Holiday Inn, Columbia River.
Holiday Inn on the Columbia River.
someone just asked if there's a way to attend this weekend virtually. No.
Negative.
So I think a couple of us will be live streaming our portion of the event, but it isn't something that you can attend all in virtually. So if you're far away, invite them to come talk in your area.
We'll be live streaming a little on our Invest Northwest page as well.
Right, so the Northwest Invest page will have some of it live streamed there too. You won't have the benefit of sitting down and talking with other multi-millionaires that are at the point you're trying to get to. So I recommend if you're in the area coming here. We have the event all day tomorrow. We actually have a dinner tomorrow night where people get to go around, sit at the same dinner table, ask the questions that maybe you don't want to ask in a public format. But when you come to an event like this, sometimes you're going to hear somebody else ask a question that sparks the conversation that gives you information you didn't even realize you needed.
Absolutely.
So for those who are going to come and see your speech, it's going to be you and Mike. You guys are both talking about different strategies. Outside of, so he's in a totally different market, you're local. What are the main differences between your strategies, and why did you do what you did as far as stay pretty tight, stay local, buy only great deals? I've seen a ton of different strategies. What made you go that route as opposed to the let's expand big and let's go out of market?
So there's two major differences between the way that me and Millennial Mike invest. And I don't want to speak from his perspective because he's actually going to be here tomorrow to talk about the way he invested. But he is doing a thing that scales your portfolio faster with smaller margins. He is recycling capital. That is where you take out a home equity line of credit, do a cash out refinance, use private money to refinance your properties, where you take the equity that's in that property, which I call the ability to add debt to an existing asset. And he is growing his portfolio much faster than I did. He's been doing this less than half the time, and his portfolio is about the same size. The reason that I don't recycle capital is I recycle cash flow. So I have less units, but each property, instead of producing $200 to $400 a month in cash flow, each unit is producing over $1,000 a month in cash flow because I don't touch equity. Mike also, if you're familiar with Dave Ramsey likes to use the debt snowball instead of the debt avalanche, where you pay off the smallest debt first, because that dopamine hit of getting something paid off keeps you motivated to keep doing that. Mike likes to close on properties more frequently, so he is buying less expensive properties in Gary, Indiana. Instead of saving the full down payment to buy, I like to buy properties that cost a lot more in a place like close to, but not in Seattle, Washington, where the appreciation is multiples of what's going to happen in Gary. The cash flow is multiples, but I'm only closing on a deal every year or 2 years, where Mike, I think, has gotten 3 or 4 deals this year already. So there's definitely different ways to do this. Figuring out which way works for you is what matters.
It's awesome.
You guys have some deals in the works right now. What's going on with that? You were talking about it just before we went on camera.
We are working on a 60 unit in Walla Walla, so that's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be seller financed, low to no money out of pocket. So that'll be our biggest purchase to date with 60. And then we're working on a 30 unit acquisition from the Housing Authority over in Ephrata. And we're working on going under contract as well on a 15 unit on the water in Moses Lake, all of which is seller financed as well.
Nice. So we're probably not going to be able to answer any questions here, but during our live stream tomorrow, if you can, I'm trying to think of the best way to get questions. After these lives are over, leave some questions in the comments below, and we'll see if those are questions we can address tomorrow during our presentations.
Perfect. And Dion's much more popular than us, so it looks like most of you are on Dion's channel today.
There were a couple who actually said that we all suck because we made them choose which channel, so they saw both.
And most of our channel are people who have watched your stuff and at some point bridged over to us. So ask it on Dion's channel, ask it on our channel. Either way, we're going to pool all the questions, we'll put them together, and we'll see how many we can get answered here.
So some people put in the chat, where's the event in Dallas? So that's going to be Dealmaker Live. So that is Michael Blanc's real estate event. And then, let's see, are Cody and Christian doing acquisition on the East Coast? No, we're not.
Nope, not there yet.
No. Do we have, so in our circle of people, if you're looking for information on investing on the East Coast, we also work really closely with the Lumberjack Landlord. You can find Matt's information right here on YouTube, Lumberjack Landlord. He has, first, everyone always talks about this like it's a negative, but I think this was one of his superpowers. He's a 9th grade dropout. High school wasn't needed to reach financial freedom. Currently, last count had 137 rental units, self-manages them himself. He hasn't retired yet, he still works a full-time job. He's married, has, I think, 3 kids under 5. So if you're thinking that you're in a position where maybe you're too busy or there's not enough time to do this, there are people doing this successfully that develop systems to make it possible for you to do this while you're working full-time, while you're raising kids, while you're trying to have a life. It doesn't have to be all of your time forever. It is a significant amount of your time for a while so that you can do what I did last year when I retired and will never work again. And now the weirdest thing I have to figure out is where I want to spend the winters and the summers.
It's a good problem to have.
Different problem.
Yeah.
Different problem.
One more plug for Matt. He's probably the smartest investor I've ever met. You're talking about 9th grade dropout. He was too cool for school. Matt is very intelligent, great investor, and is it New Hampshire?
Yes, New Hampshire's just outside of Boston.
Perfect. Great one to follow. You guys should check out his channel.
Okay,
Sweet.
well, we hope to see you here at this event. If not, we'll see you at this event next year. Until our next video, thanks for coming to our Dion talk.
Thanks for joining Multifamily Strategy.
Ciao.